morning, my friends. This is Angie Stewart. We are here for Conscious Living Spiritist Group. Sunday morning, we have another beautiful lecture to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here. It has quite some time that I haven't been here. I was a little bit sick, so it's super happy to be able to be again with our Conscious Living family, delivering another beautiful lecture during our Sunday morning meetings in English. So, as we always do, I will read a passage of this beautiful book, Our Daily Bread. And the passage today is number 55, Invisible Things. So, let's start. Invisible things. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power, and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. Paul. The spectacle of creation of the universe is the most outstanding of all the manifestations against negative materialism, son of ignorance or foolishness. The created objects more justly address the invisible nature. Where could you find activity that unfolds without reason? Every intelligent form was born of an intelligent source. Mankind only knows the causes of his transitory achievements, ignoring all of the complex motives of each angle in the road. The exterior landscape that affects the senses is a minuscule part of the divine creations that sustain his habitat, conditioned to his possibilities of benefiting. The human eyes will not perceive further than the limits of their capacity of resistance. The human being will live among the beings that he requires in his task of evolvement. He will have the adequate environment required for his needs of improvement and progress. But let no one presume that the vital experience of the sphere in which he breaches is what his mortal fingers are capable of touching. The visible objects in the area of illusionary forms are brief and transitory, resulting from the invisible forces of the eternal plane. Fulfill the obligations that correspond to you, and you will receive the proper rights that await you. Fulfill your daily obligations correctly, and you will not be required to repeat the same experience tomorrow. Wow, this last paragraph is so powerful, so beautiful, touches any heart, even the ones that are not spiritists. So if you have a chance, Our Daily Bread, lesson 55, take a look, read it a little bit deeper, and then analyze it. So I already see friends here. Hello, Susanna. Good morning, Gisele, Mary, Juan, Patricia. Hi, my friends. Very happy to be here with all of you. So I would like to invite all of you now to have our initial prayer so we can relax, calm down, and then we can welcome Lia, our speaker of the day. Okay? Dear God, thank you for another opportunity of being here together with all our friends, with all the enlightened spirits that are guiding and protecting this beautiful event. We would like to ask for our spiritual guides, our guardian angels, to help us to connect with the higher spirituality, calming down our thoughts, helping us to be able to concentrate in the message that's going to be brought. We also would like to ask the guardian angel to help Lia to connect with the study that she produced. So she will be able to show to us, explaining in details, and we will all comprehend. And at the end, we will feel more fulfilled, and we will put in practice what we have heard today. Thank you so much for another opportunity of a growth and a moral elevation. Please stay with us now and always. So be it. Very good, my friends. Let's bring Lia. Hey, Lia, how are you?
Good morning, Angie. Thank you so much for
Nice to see you.
Yes, thank you for your nice welcoming. Full of good vibes and energies here. Thank you. Beautiful Angie.
You are awesome. I just want to read a little bit about Lia to the ones that haven't met Lia. So Lia is a board member of the Spiritist Society of North Beach in Maryland. And she's there since 2009, the incorporation of the society. So in many different functions. So Lia, it's a pleasure to have you here. And this is to show us that the internet is awesome because you didn't need to travel. So you are traveling through space.
It's true. It's true.
Really nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Angie.
So I will put your presentation, and then you can start talking. I will be here. Anything you need, just I will be like a genie, like, hey, Lia.
Sounds good. Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you one more time, dear friends of Conscious Living. I would not mind at all to be in Florida with you today. You know, I'm talking here from Virginia State, where we have our spirit centers, 4 spirit centers of Maryland and 1 of Virginia and DC in our area. It's the 3rd time we had snow already, so I hope to feel your warmth, your energies from Florida. Thank you so much, and I also like to acknowledge, the invitation from dear Andrea and Marcelo, and send them our vibrations. I know they are in Brazil at this time, so thank you so much for this invitation, for the opportunity to study this subject and bring to all of you what we could grasp our understanding. So I hope you can add to these teachings at the end of the lecture and help me, deliver this message from the high spirits. So this subject, it's about time, telling us that actually we are late to accomplish something. It's about time for us to wake up. It's about time for us to take responsibility and ownership of the tasks we are here to fulfill. It's about time to live a conscious living, to know exactly where we are, where we want to go, and be connected to our spiritual side so we can fulfill the best of our knowledge, the tasks we came here for. So I would like to start with this message found in the letter to Romans by Paul, who says, "The hour has come for you to wake up." And Paul, a long time ago, said this to the Romans, and I think it can still be applied to us. Maybe some of us are still the Romans of his time. We are still sleeping. We are still not awake, not observing what is happening in our world. and what is happening inside and out. So the invitation of this study today is really to wake up little by little our conscience, to open our hearts, to open our minds, for the teachings of Christ, the teachings of the high spirits, and finally put in practice into our lives. Because by now I think we have enough knowledge, but not necessarily we are living this knowledge. So let's start here with Leon Denis on the book Life and Destiny. He says, "It is necessary to awaken the human soul, asleep by fatal rhetoric, to show it its hidden powers, to force it to become aware of itself and accomplish its glorious destinies." So there is a glorious destiny ahead. We already know that one day we are going to become perfect, pure spirits. But at this moment, we are on this process of having the first steps, and the first step is to really wake up, is to become aware of what we need to do. There is no more time to be sleeping. Here, another letter from Paul now to the Ephesians, who say, "Awake, O sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will give you light." So Christ came here more than 2,000 years ago to show us the path, to give us a light, a message, but it's up to us to absorb that and put in practice into us. So the invitation for us to live a real life is the life of the Spirit. The invitation is not only for us incarnated spirits, but also to the discarnated ones, waiting to wake up, waiting to have new opportunities, knowing that it's never late to start over. So we need to develop our full human potential. We are still in the initial stages of evolution, but we were created to be beautiful, fully divine. So we need to understand that, and I think Spiritism brings us a lot of knowledge and understanding about the hidden powers of the Spirit and what we can accomplish as human beings. So before we even dream to become pure spirits or to reach angelic states, we must become more human. I think we are still, very tight to our inferior being, to who we are, to our imperfections, So we need to get rid of these imperfections little by little, to really become more human. And what is to become more human? To become more compassionate, to be sensitive to the sufferings around us, is to be thankful for all the blessings we have, for who we are, and share our blessings, our talents with others. So, and by doing that, we are going to really accomplish our destiny, of being a true human being. And it is about time to do good with humility. I think we not only have a lot of knowledge, but we still have a lot of difficulties to put into practice, into actions, and do that with humility, without feeling superior to others. And as a followers of Jesus Christ, we do want to learn with him, with his teachings, his parables, his example. And he gave us the example of humility throughout all his life. And we find on the Gospel according to Spiritism a message by the Spirit Lacordaire, who tells us about doing humility. And I'm going to read here for you. It's an invocation, pretty much. He says, "Wake up, my brothers and sisters, my friends. May the voice of the spirits touch your hearts. Be generous and charitable without ostentation, that is, do the good with humility. Let each of you tear down little by little the altars you have erected to pride. In a word, be true Christians, and you possess the kingdom of truth. No longer doubt God's goodness when He gives you so many proofs of it. So let's allow the voice of the spirits, the message of the high spirits to touch our hearts, to wake up our conscience. And let's start by taking action, by doing good, by spreading goodness. And we cannot do good without developing generosity. So we need to be generous to share our blessings and our talents with others. And we must be doing good with humility, meaning without ostentation, without the feeling of superiority, without humiliating anyone. We know that the charity is more than giving material possessions, but is mostly important is the moral charity, which is to develop our patience, our tolerance, to be able to stop and listen to someone, to give a hand, to not judge. So there is a lot to do and to develop with these virtues of humility and goodness and generosity and so on. But we cannot do that if we still have a lot of pride and selfishness inside of us. And the invitation is really to, little by little, tear down these altars that we erected. These feelings of superiority, thinking that we are better than others just because maybe we have mastered certain talents. No one is perfect, and as we learn, we realize that we really do not know anything, because more we learn, more we have to learn, and the more evolved the spirits, the missionaries, they all had this virtue of humility, and it's something we must develop if we want to be called true Christians. And being a Christian is not to belong to a Christian religion, but is to really make daily force to follow Christ's steps, and his messages. And then we are going to find this kingdom of truth, the universal truth, the divine laws, what is really separating, what is from wrong and truth. No longer doubt God's goodness. So by now, we know that God is no longer material. We know that God, it is this immaterial, supreme intelligence force that we call creator, but he or she is good like a father and mother, and is just. And we learn on the Spirit's book to recognize God, our creator, in a different way, not a person, but this powerful goodness and mercy and energy that we can grasp by its attributes, but that we can grasp by observing the beauty and the perfection in nature, every single detail that we human beings still cannot recognize. And on top of that, we destroy, we do not respect, we exploit. So we need to understand that we are all interconnected. So if our brothers and sisters are suffering, we are going to be affected. If nature is exploited, if we abuse animals, we are going to be affected, because we are part of the same creation and we have God as our Father. But we need to find these truths in our heart so we can then live accordingly. Okay? And here Lacordaire continues telling us we need to become one family. He says, we have come to prepare the way for the fulfillment of the prophecies. When the Lord comes to give you a more resounding manifestation of his clemency, may the heavenly messenger find you as one great family. We all wish to give the best to our families. We want to provide to them. We want, to expend time with them. But how about the other families? We human beings all look for the same. We have the same needs, from the most basic ones to the more higher ones. So we cannot only have everything for our blood families or the ones we share life with, but see the whole humanity as one great family. It's Yes, we are still very far from that, but we have to start by acknowledging that and start by sharing our blessings with others. May your gentle and humble hearts be worth of understanding the divine word that He'll bring you. So we must be gentle and humble in our hearts. Again, the message of kindness and humility is starting from inside out. May the chosen one find on his path only the palm branches laid there by your return to goodness, charity, and fraternity. And I put this image here because to me, images tells me a lot, and I hope it tells you a lot, as a symbolism of welcoming Christ inside our hearts and acknowledging that we are really one family, that we have to go back to the path of goodness, charity, and fraternity, seeing us really children of God, brothers and sisters, in humanity. Then your world will become a terrestrial paradise. So we all can see that our world is sick because we human beings are sick. So we need to find healing. And little by little, this healing is through small steps of love and charity and goodness, for one day we have a terrestrial paradise, and we know it's going to happen because we learn that the worlds like us, like everything, it's in a constant evolutionary process. So we learn with the spirits that our planet is a current planet of trials and expiations, moving, evolving to a planet of regeneration, and one day you'll be the house of a pure spirit, right? You be the house of happy spirits, as we evolve. So the invitation is for us to evolve with our planet, so we do not miss the boat, right? We will not be invited to less evolved worlds. If we have to visit less evolved worlds, we hope it's just to rescue and help others, but not because we're still connected energetically with these inferior worlds. Another virtue that we must develop if we really want to help our world to become a better place is mercy. So instead of judging people, instead of pointing fingers, we need to give a hand. We need to have mercy. We have the feeling of compassion, like on this parable, we learn about the adulterous woman that I'm sure everybody here knows. But just to read, this is found on the Gospel of John. Jesus stood up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on sin no more." So Jesus never condemned anyone, and if he would return today to our planet, to our world, he continues showing to us that we have no right to judge others, because we also have our own imperfections. He separated, the sins from sinners. So this is the same. We may not agree or even talk about the mistakes, but not condemning who is doing the mistakes. Or you can say, okay, there are certain mistakes that it can really cause damage to our society. Then yes, these people have to undergo a process of justice and maybe even be incarcerated, but without us wishing revenge, without us wishing these people bad things, because we know we are all able to commit mistakes. We by now we understand that we are spirits that incarnate multiple times, that right now we are the best of us. So, and if we still find a lot of imperfections, imagine how we were before. So instead of judging people, let's give them a hand. Let's understand they need time to evolve. They need help. We are all seeking one way or another. It can be psychologically, it can be mentally, it can be spiritually. So we are here to really learn and perfect each other through our relationships, and just by holding hands, we can do that without really judgment. So, and here we have by now the path, the way. We know the way, the path to follow. We know the truths brought by our master, by the good spirits, and we all want to have a life of peace, of fulfillment. So Jesus came to show us the path, to really give light to the world. And I brought this letter to the Ephesians again for us to read and meditate on the full extent of the message, which says, "But their evil intentions will be exposed when the light shines on them, for the light makes everything visible. This is why it said, 'Awake, O sleeper, rise up from the dead, and Christ will give you light.'" So, it struck me this message saying that when the light shines into darkness, everything is visible. So what we see in our world is not necessarily that it's worse than before, but it's because now we have more light, so we can see the imperfections of darkness. And we also learned that many spirits, inferior spirits, are having their last opportunities to reincarnate here before they move to a less evolved worlds. So think like that. If you see what is undergoing our planet, and if you see this darkness as a light that is showing to us, you can see that we are already in a better phase. So now that we see the imperfections, we see evil, if you will, now we can work to fix that. Because while we don't see the problem, we cannot work to solve. But by seeing now, then we can, start taking action and bringing more light and less darkness to the world. Which brings another letter to the Romans, saying, "And do this, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep." So you see the message repeats over and over from different sources. "For now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed." The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. So let's pause here. Our salvation is nearer than we first believed. What is the salvation now? We know that salvation is the sense of evolution, is to get rid of our imperfections, is by casting the works of darkness that is still inside of us. Then we can help cast off the works of darkness around us. But we only can do this by putting an armor of light. And what is armor? It tells us we need a protection. So light is going to be armor, is going to protect us. More we evolve, more we get rid of imperfections, more we develop light, more protected we will be against the spirits that are less evolved, of people that are less evolved. Of course, we cannot just live in a bubble just with evolved people, we all have imperfections. We need to help each other. If we have a little light, even if it's tiny, then it is your work to shine your light, and to help, people that are still lost to come, and with you and follow a better path, okay, without judgment, as true brotherhood, sisterhood. But again, let's put this armor of light so we can be protected. Which I want to bring this Buddhist proverb, who says, "The lotus flower blooms most beautifully from the deepest and thickest mud." So it doesn't matter that we are still, into the darkness, because we still have a lot of imperfections. Nature shows to us that we can still produce flowers and blossom, even, with all our imperfections. So this gives us a lot of hope that we can really transform ourselves, and see goodness in everyone and everything. Again, we can find these beautiful flowers in mud. Another quote, I love quotes and images, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. This, it says, from St. Francis of Assisi, a spirit we admire a lot. It says, "All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle." So let's be single candles, let's be small candles, but let's produce some light, and as we work together, we'll be able to eliminate the darkness of our world. More than ever, we need to illuminate our own path and the path of our brothers and sisters. Another example here of a spirit who is trying to put some light in the darkness is the spirit of André Luiz, and you can find on his books, especially on this one called The Liberation, the following: enchanted by his discoveries involving the infinite way, accomplished after much suffering and conflict, he returns to the environs of the earth's surface to tell his former companions that beyond the little cubicles where they live, another life shines, more beautiful and intense, but which requires detailed individual improvement for the journey through the narrow passageway which gives access to sublime enlightenment. So, first, we must believe there is much more than our little cubicles here. We must understand there is more life that shines and more beautiful and intense ahead of us. And we must make our efforts to go through this journey, this narrow passageway, so we can find our light, our enlightenment. So this is in the beginning of the book, where you can also see the Egyptian tale about the red little fish. And I found appropriate to share this with us, showing that all of us are making efforts to shine a light, to leave our past of mistakes. And there is no need to judge each other, simply helping each other, holding hands so we can move ahead together. But the spirits tell us with prudence. Um, Spiritism has come to shed light on a multitude of obscure points. However, it does not shed it indiscriminately. The spirits proceed in their teachings with admirable prudence. Only successively and gradually have they broached the various subjects of the doctrine, and it is thus that the others will be revealed to the degree that the time comes for bringing them out of darkness. So the spirits shows to us prudence, shows to us that the light and the teachings has to be successive and gradual. And we find on the Gospel of Matthew that we need to be careful when we show our own light. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. So without losing our innocence, we need to be wise, because there are many serpents around us, many spirits, incarnated or discarnated ones, that you try to make our path difficult. So we need to persevere, we need to watch and pray not to fall into temptation, and keep shining our light and keep opening the path and spreading the teachings of the good spirits without fear, knowing that we have the good spirits in our side. Let's not forget, we are children of God, as I mentioned. And here I'm going to read a prayer I found on the Gospel, which says, God of goodness, thank you for allowing us to come once again to endure the earthly trials destined to enable our progress. Grant us your light so that we may learn to acknowledge, love, and worship you. By your omnipotence, enable our soul to regenerate itself in the fount of your divine teachings. Under the guidance of our guardian angel, may your intelligence develop and make it aspire to draw closer and closer to you. May the knowledge of Spiritism be the shining light that enlightens us through the choices of our life. And finally, we may learn to appreciate the full extent of your love that put us to the test in order to purify us. So, dear friends, we are children of God, aspiring to be workers of the Lord. The time is near for the fulfillment of those things proclaimed for the transformation of humankind. Blessed be those who have worked in the Lord's field selflessly and with no other motive than charity. Brothers and sisters, let us work together and combine our efforts so that the Master may find the work accomplished at his coming. Come unto me, you who have been good servants, you who have known how to silence your jealousies and discords, so that no harm would come to the work. The recompense of heaven are for those who did not ask for the recompense of earth. It is for those who do not recoil before their tasks that God will entrust the most difficult positions in the great work of regeneration through Spiritism. So this comes by the Spirit of Truth found on the Gospel, a message to all of us to really develop this spirit of service, the spirit of humility, and give our contribution, even if it's very, very small, but put our heart into the work of the Lord, knowing that there are different types of soil, like we find on the parable of the sower. Let's spread the seeds to good ground, to receptive soil, knowing all the other types of soils around. So we do not need to impose the knowledge, we do not need to try to convince anyone, but simply, spread the good news for the ones that are receptive, the ones that are willing to learn. Like St. Francis or Francis of Assisi tell us, preach the gospel at all times and when necessary, use words. So it is through our example, through our behavior, through our attitude that we are going to actually spread the good news, and not by imposing to anyone, and not by saying beautiful words or having a beautiful rhetoric, that we are going to convince people. So, as the good spirits tell us, an era is coming to an end. So, there are new times ahead, and that we are going through a period of crisis and labor pains. They say that the exhausted forms of the past will fade and collapse to make room for new ones, at first vague and confusing, but which are gradually becoming more precise. The human spirit is at work everywhere, and an apparent decomposition of ideas and principles everywhere, in science, in art, in philosophy, and even within religions. The attentive observer can detect the occurrence of a slow and painful gestation. This is on the book of Leon Denis, Life and Destiny. And observe, we are all undergoing this painful gestation. Each human being on our whole planet, so it is painful, but we hopefully are going to be born, more beautiful, with more talents, for a better destination that we all were created for. And to conclude, this is the message we find on the beginning of the gospel, telling us that we are not alone. The spirits are with us. They say, like an immense army setting out upon receiving its orders, the spirits of the Lord, who are the powers of heaven, have fanned out over the entire face of earth. Like falling stars, they have come to illuminate the way and open the eyes of the blind. Verily, I tell you that the time has come in which all things must be established according to their true meaning, in order to dissipate the darkness, to confound the proud, and to glorify the righteous. The great voices of heaven resound like trumpets, and the choirs of angels have assembled together. Men and women, we invite you to the divine concert. May your hands take up the lyre, may your voices be as one, and like a sacred hymn, expand and vibrate from one end of the universe to the other. Men and women, brothers and sisters who we love, we are here beside you. Love one another also, and say from the bottom of your hearts, in obedience to the will of your Father who is in heaven, Lord, Lord, and you shall enter the kingdom of heaven. So we all wish to be prepared to one day enter this promised kingdom of heaven, where we can finally find peace and rest to our souls. But while we are not there yet, the invitation is really to hold hands, to help each other the best we can, so we can accomplish our beautiful destinies. With that, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity, for your patience, for the time I use it, and I think I give back to Angie for your final considerations. Thank you.
Uh, very beautiful, very beautiful, beautiful pictures too, beautiful pictures. But the ideas, the thoughts, and the explanation, very, 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 very nice. It touched our hearts, and
Thank you.
this is something that we need really need to put in practice in our days. It's almost like the book, our daily bread. We need to do this on a daily basis. Many times we
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
how important, how helpful it is.
yeah. We
Just
have.
just before you comment, my friends, I want to let you know that we have this time now for questions, for comments. So please feel free to write your comments, to write your questions, because Lia will be here to answer. So let's take advantage of this time. I'm sorry, Lia, go ahead. What you were gonna
No, I just would like just to thank you, each one of you, and I'm pretty sure people have some comments, and these are the teachings of the spirits that I just put together and try to explain the best I could. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
But this is the best thing, because all the spirits that you mentioned, we all have heard. Most of us, we all have studied about. But sometimes, a lot of people don't really connect these messages from this spirit. What does it mean? So this is the point. This is the helpful point for all of us.
Mhm.
And um, before the let's see if our friends are going to comment or are going to have questions. But Lia, so from all this that you said, what do you think is like the key point during this moment that we were all thinking pandemic time in 22 is disappearing? And not yet, not yet. So we are all like, oh my goodness, another year. So with this very uplifting message, how can we keep this good vibrations, this good energy, good thoughts? How can we start?
I think it's a daily discipline to stop and connect ourselves to the high spirits, because we cannot avoid the daily challenges, right? I feel we have more than enough knowledge now, but the difficulty is really to put all these in practice during the stress of our work, or during the challenges in our families, on these pandemics, all these uncertainties, and the times that we find people that they are aggressive, or they are in despair. So basically, we are really in a very tumultuous, very difficult times, and the challenges are bigger and bigger. So I think more than time, it is more than ever, we need to really find ways to stop, to connect, and to find tools to regain our balance. It's a moment of a prayer, of a reading, a meditation, or exercising. Find ways to regain our balance and keep going, following our path. Because, like I said, I don't think it's lack of knowledge, but it's how to put all this into practice. And I think it's a discipline. It is a constant work. It is not losing hope, not losing faith. Just keep going the best we can without feeling bad if we are not able to follow all these all the time, not feeling guilty, but just start again. You say, okay, today I lost my patience, but tomorrow I will try again. And little by little, I think we allow ourselves to develop this, you know, these virtues inside of us. So we cannot just from one moment to another change millenniums of imperfections, because the same way we develop the automatism of being proud, for instance, now we must develop the automatism of being humble. So it's really through awareness. It's why the invitation is to wake up our conscience, to be aware of who we are, to be aware in which moment we are living, and then making daily efforts to accomplish our tasks the best we can, without losing our values, without losing our faith, building resilience. Um, I mean, and holding hands, by helping each other, by recognizing our own imperfections. I think we can, you know, we can make progress. So that I'm sharing with you what I try to do myself, and I'm far from mastering all this, but it's why we are here, right? In a Sunday, studying, reflecting, and trying to understand these beautiful, beautiful teachings from many spirits, from our masters, so we can one day reach this state of perfection, of happiness, of peace that we aim for, right? I
Yeah.
think we are, by now, I think we are thirsty, we are hunger, for spiritual food, for spiritual water. Um, but it's very easy to be lost um, on the um, on the material world, on the illusions of the world, because how can we talk about humility if humility is considered weakness in our society? It's like it's why we have to know what is important for us, and follow our own path, even if we sometimes we feel we are swimming against the river. We need to be strong and keep going, knowing that, okay, this is the path I want to follow. I know who I am. I know what I need to change. I already know who I want to be. Now, how I get there, it is a constant daily force. There is no other way.
No, you're totally right, and it happens to all of us. Sometimes we start accumulating like anger, for example, and then we explode. But we have to police ourselves to avoid this explosion because we are better now. We
Mm,
have more understanding.
yeah.
We have to understand, like, when we are reaching to that old point, let's remove ourselves from that situation, because then we can not explode, and then we can like do some meditation, do some prayer. Even a
Mm,
few minutes away from that problem can already refresh our minds and bring different thoughts and better vibrations.
mm,
And I think what happened too is that we are going into the third year of the pandemic. So this is like oh, it's hard. It's hard to all of us. So
yeah.
we had that habit of, like, for example, every Sunday we go to the center, we meet our friends, we watch a beautiful lecture, and then we receive passes, and we are good to go. And now we don't have this physically anymore.
Yeah.
And because the time is passing and people start getting a little bit more tired of internet, because everything is on the internet, people
Mhm.
start having this tendency of, oh, I don't need to do it. I can do it later on. I leave it for now. But the thing is, like, we are people of habits. So we are like, we keep postponing something, and we will keep postponing. And this
Mhm.
is not good. So it's great to have a healthy habit. Like,
Mhm.
let's try to let's separate Sunday 11 to 12 to join uh, conscious living and to have these healthy habits and listen to a beautiful lecture, listen to beautiful ideas. And this will give us this boost
Mm.
for another beautiful week. Because I
Mhm.
understand people are like, oh, another online. Oh, I'm tired. I want to see people. We all want to see people. We all
Yeah.
want to hug and kiss. We are
Yeah.
Brazilians. So like, mm,
And we are social beings, right? We are social beings.
exactly.
Isolation is not good for us, right? We develop
Yes.
other types of issues,
We
but it
struggle.
is we struggle exactly. But it's the moment we are living, and the only thing we can do is really hold the hands. And I think we need to recognize our limits. It's like, okay, now when you see that, okay, I'm too nervous now, I need to stop and first, rebalance myself, then I can keep going. Because if you reach your limit and you just keep going, keep pushing, you are going to explode.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to recognize when is a moment to stop and regain our balance, and then after we can continue. We do not allow ourselves to stop. We do not allow ourselves to do just one task. We are constantly bombarded, by all kinds of tasks and work. And how can um, not be anxious or nervous or
Yeah.
stressed? But this is the challenges of our times. But there are a lot of ways, therapeutic ways, spiritual ways that we can use in order to help us. So you need to find your own ways to regain your balance, and to know yourself, recognize, what you have already that's good that you have to keep, and what you need to continue working to change or to improve. You know,
Yeah.
Again, without punishing us, without we have to be kind to ourselves as well. you
Mhm.
know do not feel guilty or feel bad, if you
Yeah.
keep losing your battles. Just keep going,
Yeah.
keep trying. Remember, it's the efforts we do. The true spiritist is recognized by the daily efforts. So maybe we do not master yet, but we are making efforts to get there. And this is what counts. Is the intention that is important. Is not what we are able to do per se, but is the intentions of getting there. you
Yeah.
know
And
Again.
always watch and pray. Watch and pray. And talking about it, our time is finished. Would you like to pray for us to do our final prayer?
I can try. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's take this moment with our heart full of happiness and gratitude for this moment, for new friends, old friends from both realms that joined us here today for these teachings, for these reflections. We ask, dear Lord, to help open our hearts, open our minds, help us wake up from our long sleep, help us to grasp these teachings, to see your light, and to be able to follow. We would like to thank our mentors, our individual mentors, the mentors of our spirit centers, our Master Jesus, and all the spirits involved on the lessons of today. We would like to express our greatest gratitude, wishing peace and harmony to all of us, to a blessed Sunday, asking strength for the week ahead, so we may be able to do the best we can in every task to become a little bit better every day until one day we'll be aligned with you, Master Jesus, and all the high spirits. With a lot of gratitude and happiness, we say thank you, and so be it.
So be it. So beautiful, Lia. Thank you so much. It was
Thank
a
you.
blessing to have you here with us. It was
Thank,
really, really nice. I will
thank
see
you.
you soon.
You are beautiful too. I love it, your energy, full of, very animated, full of
Yeah,
energy.
we need to have this. We at least we are online. Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you
And
so much, Lia.
thank you.
My
God bless you
friends,
all. Thank you.
see
Have
you
a good
soon.
day.
So, my friends, we are finishing for today. It was a pleasure to have you all here. And please continue visiting our website, our Facebook, and also our YouTube, so you can see all the past lectures. And in our website, we can have news about our study groups. We continue having study groups throughout the week. So, if you don't know about it, check it out and join us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you again soon. Hopefully Tuesday or next Sunday. Bye-bye. Have a great week.